Welcome, welcome, welcome. I would like to welcome you to episode 293 of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And here at the Unpopular Podcast, I'm not really asking you to agree with me. I'm just asking you to hear me out. And where we'll start, first of all, I want to say happy holidays to the people, for people that didn't understand where I was last week. It was the holidays. I was out of town. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed your family just like I wish I would have enjoyed mine. Let's just say that. Hope you guys ate as much as you could. Enjoyed Black Friday. We are back. And what we will start with are wins. Now, when you hear the word wins, what you have to understand about wins is a win is different for different people. And what do I mean by that? You have to put wins in the same basket you put expectations. Some people's expectations for things are different than others, and that is okay. You know what I mean? Team USA advanced out of the group stages after beating Iran, I apologize, after beating Iran 1-0 or 1-0. Now, I will be the first to come in here and say that I was wrong. I didn't think that Team USA was going to make it out of the group stages because of the history that I've seen from Team USA. I mean, if you think about it, Team USA didn't even make the last World Cup because they didn't qualify. So I was very skeptical when it comes to Team USA, at least the men's side. The women's side have a history of domination. The men's, not so much. I was talking to a friend of mine. We were talking, who is the face of Team USA? Who was the face? Team USA men's has had some great players. They've had Clint Dempsey. They've had Tim Howard. They've had Landon Donovan. But you don't really know the face. I mean, if you look at Team USA women's, you could say Megan Rapinoe. Probably, maybe Alex Morgan. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, Team USA made it out of the group stages. They will be playing the Netherlands on Saturday, I believe. And in that is where we start. We start with expectations and wins. You see, I was wrong about Team USA making out the group stages, and congratulations for Team USA for making out the group stages. Christian Pulisic is our best player. He is, at least currently, the face of Team USA men's side. They call him Captain America. He is our best player, and he came through in the clutch. Now, yes, he did go out after he scored the only goal that Team USA scored, against Iran. He went out with an abdominal injury, went to the hospital. As I'm recording, we haven't gotten an update, so once that, I'll probably put it on my Instagram or something, but Christian Pulisic had his quote-unquote Captain America moment. His nickname is Captain America. He has Captain America moment. He was able to get us the goal or us when I say Team USA, get us the goal to advance to out of the group stages. And to me, that is the win. That is the win. Let's be honest about Team USA, right? In this entire group stage, they've struggled. They struggled to score. They've struggled to finish. They did have the goal against Wales, but Wales ultimately came back and won. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They didn't come back and won, but they came back and tied it, and it was a draw. But when you look at the World Cup, and you look at who Team USA is, do you honestly think that let me say this. I don't know what you think. You could think. I don't think Team USA has a realistic shot of winning the whole World Cup. When you look at Brazil, who is the most stacked team, even with Neymar being out right now, Brazil's the most stacked team. You have Argentina, and even though they did get upset, but Argentina with Lionel Messi. You have Portugal with Cristiano Ronaldo. Team USA, the win to me was making it out of the group stage is what they did. Hell, they may not even beat the Netherlands on Saturday, but that is okay because the win was getting out the group stages, in my opinion, and they were able to do that. Again, this is a Team USA that didn't even qualify for the World Cup previously due to the fact that they just didn't make it. Team USA is a young team. They have a lot of young players. So I do think that they will get better. But kind of like Team USA when we talk about basketball, Team USA when we talk about swimming, Team USA women's soccer, the USA is in those sports is known for dominance. Team USA basketball is known for dominance. We as in the USA are known as the mecca of basketball. Yeah, you have people like Giannis and you have Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, but America is where you have or is known as the basketball powerhouse. Same thing as swimming. Michael Phelps, Ryan Lotney, Katie. I forgot her last name, but Katie, you know what I'm talking about. I apologize for getting your last name. Katie Ledecky, powerhouse. Team USA soccer has not been the case. Team USA men's soccer has not been the case. So wins goes in the same basket as expectations. My expectations, there are delusional expectations, but Team USA won. And congratulations, in my opinion, for Team USA getting the win that they needed, meaning getting out of the group stages. What happens after this is just shocking to me at this point. Like if they could beat the Netherlands, but if they go up against, in my opinion, a more dominant team like a Portugal, like a Argentina, like a Brazil, and win, that would probably be the whole show. But congratulations to Team USA, for Christian Pulisic, for everyone in that organization for making it out of the group stages, and seeing the Netherlands on Saturday. Speaking of expectations, there were two teams that went into the NFL season with high expectations. Multiple teams, let's say that. There was multiple teams that went into the season with high expectations. But I'm going to focus on two of them. And the reason why I'm going to focus on two of them is because both of these, I believe both of these teams' futures hinge on decisions that could be made coming up. The two teams that I'm going to talk about is the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams. Denver made the splash, or probably had the splash of the offseason, trading for Russell Wilson. They traded a lot. They traded Drew Lock, Noah Fant, a whole bunch of draft picks. And then they ultimately gave Russell Wilson like a 4 or 5 year contract, like worth $500 million. Or no, $250 million. They also got Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach, who was previously the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people, including myself, had high expectations for the Broncos. I thought I was going, if everything worked out the way it could, I saw them making it to the AFC Championship. Clearly, I was wrong. But this season is over with for them. Due to with things not working offensively, their defense has been really good. But offensively they've been so bad that they had to free up some space. So they traded, they traded Bradley Chubb, who is one of their best defensive players. No, they're still good. They still have Patrick Surtain. They're still good defensively, but still. They let go of Melvin Gordon. he kept fumbling the ball. They let him go. He went to the Chargers. Not Chargers. He went to the Chiefs. It's been a tough season for the Broncos. And for the Rams. The Rams had high expectations coming off a Super Bowl. You bring back a lot of you do lose Odell Beckham Jr. Due to injury, and we don't know where he's going free agent wise. You also lose Von Miller to the Bills. You get Allen Robinson, who was incredible in Chicago. You still have Cooper Kupp. I'm sorry. You're able to get Aaron Donald back from retirement. The whole we're going to defend the championship was very fresh on the Rams' mind. But as we sit here today, the Rams are currently 3-8, and the Broncos are currently 3-8. Both teams, in my humble opinion, will not make the playoffs. In fact, I'm almost sure both teams will not make the playoffs. But when I said expectations, the expectations weren't let's not make the playoffs. The expectations were we have a $250 million quarterback. And we also just won a Super Bowl. Let's run it back. So I started this segment off by saying that the futures depend. The future of both of these, at least immediate future, depends on what happens in these next few weeks. For the Broncos, it's been a litany of problems. No, actually, it's been two problems. The two problems have been Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. Russell Wilson has not been good. I'll be honest with you. He hasn't been good in the slightest. And Nathaniel Hackett, I said this before, and I've said this a couple times, so I'm not going to harp on it, but some people are better as coordinators than they are head coaches. Nathaniel Hackett, in my opinion, falls in that category. Josh McDaniels falls in that category. But this is what's going to have to happen. The season is over for the Broncos. But you can always build momentum for next season. I don't think Nathaniel Hackett will be the head coach next season. But you start building that momentum. You start getting some wins. And even if you don't get wins, at least you look better than you look. Did you know, I think the stat is, if the Broncos would have scored 18 or more points, or just 18 points, they would have been, they're like 9, they would be 9-2 right now. What I'm saying is this Broncos team has absolutely no momentum. I mean, hell, you even see Russell Wilson in the defensive lineman going at it mid-game, which you don't usually see, especially from a quarterback that is worth $250 million. I've been on record saying that it's mainly Nathaniel Hackett's fault, and I still stand on that. I think Nathaniel Hackett is not a good head coach, maybe offensive coordinator, but not a good head coach. And I kind of know that because look at Mike Vrabel, right? Look at Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. They embody Mike Vrabel. They're a good defensive team. They're a rugged team. That's what Mike Vrabel is. His handprint is on that team. And usually when you're a coordinator or when you're good at something, that side of the ball is the strongest. The only exception, I would say, is the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive guy, but they have arguably the best defense in the league. But when you look at this Broncos team, Nathaniel Hackett is supposed to be an offensive guy, and their offense looks horrible. It's not like they don't have talent. You have Cortland Sutton. You have Russell Wilson. But the offense looks bad. The offensive line looks terrible. It's just bad. And again, I do think it's mainly Nathaniel Hackett, but I don't think. I think a lot of it is Russell Wilson as well. He needs to be better. But like I said before, when you put somebody in a situation, when you put somebody in a scheme that they're not used to running, it's going to take some time. Now, I don't know, or let me say this. It's not smart, especially when you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson and then you kind of take away some of his, or try to take away some of his powers to fit into your system. Both have been bad. Russell Wilson and the system has been bad, but still. So moving forward, man, look, this Broncos team needs to, I'm not going to say get wins, but look better. Because this season's over. Just pack it up, do it for next season. But you need to build some momentum into the offseason. So you feel better about yourself. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett probably won't be there whether you start winning games or not. But build some momentum into offseason, into next season. Russell Wilson, you're gonna have to change, brother. I get that you're Russell Wilson. I get it. You're supremely talented, but you're only as, that's one thing they say in they say that in freelance world. You're only as good as your last gig. In the sports world, you're only as good as the last thing you put on tape. And this entire season, Russell Wilson has been garbage. I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of the biggest Russell Wilson fans, or I was one of the biggest Russell Wilson fans. Russell Wilson ain't been good. I will be 1,000% honest with you. So, and for the Rams, I don't know. I don't know. There's so much wrong with the Rams right now from their defense. Yes, I can't even say yes, you have Jalen Ramsey has been getting killed this entire year. Aaron Donald's hurt. I know he has Aaron Donald. Why do I keep saying Donald? Aaron Donald is hurt. He has a ankle sprain. Matthew Stafford continues his trend on being one of the league leaders in interceptions. Allen Robinson, who's out for the season now, wasn't the Allen Robinson you needed him to be. I think that you have to. This team, as in the Rams, have absolutely no draft picks for years to come. I think you're going to have to trade a big name, and the only big name I can see you trading is Jalen Ramsey. I don't see I don't see you trading Matthew Stafford. There should be no way in heaven and hell you trade Cooper Kupp, and there should be no way. Look. Hell should freeze over before you even think about trading Aaron Donald. Who's the next best option? Jalen Ramsey. You just need the problem with the Rams is there's no brightness in the future. Yes, you went all in for the championship or the Super Bowl last year, which you won. But what we're seeing is the outcome of what happens when you go all in for 1 year. You're seeing the outcome of the years after that. And what happens when a key piece, i.e. Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller, when they leave, and the other pieces that remain aren't as good as you thought they would be? Look, the future for the Broncos and the Rams can be very bright. If things start if for the Broncos, you finish this season strong, I'm not going to say you have to win every game, but at least look better offensively winning because the defense has been good. Look better. Don't look inept. And for the Rams, I think you need to trade Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's had a bad year. I still think that you're going to get a good couple draft picks for him, but what future do you have right now? You don't have one. The whole F them picks, yeah, well, It started to come back. That's all I'm saying. This has been a monumental. It goes back when I talked about Team USA. Expectations. The expectations that the Broncos went into the season with aren't the same expectations that the Houston Texans went into the season with. The same expectations that the Rams went into the season with aren't the same expectations that the Jets went in with. The Rams and the Broncos have had a monumental failure of a season. We'll just have to see how they finish it out. So let's move forward. Week 12, we're gonna break down the games. Well, not every game. We're gonna, you know how we do. Let's start with the Christmas games. Oh no, Thanksgiving games. I apologize. The Bills beat the Lions 28-25. The Lions are better than their record shows, and the Bills haven't been as good as their record shows. I thought the Bills were going to be. I didn't think they were going to go undefeated, but I thought they would be better than they are. Josh Allen is making a lot of mistakes that he shouldn't be making, especially the end zone interceptions. But it did not come back to bite them for the Lions, or didn't come back to bite them against the Lions. So they lived to see another week. But when you play some of the better teams that can capitalize more on that, you need to clean it up, because if not, you're going to go home very quickly. But congratulations to the Bills for beating the Lions 28-25. The Cowboys beat the Giants 28-20. The Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFC. I'll be real with you. Shouts out, and people get a lot. He gets killed a lot. Both of them get killed a lot. But shouts out to Mike McCarthy and shouts out to Kellen Moore for understanding the strengths of the Cowboys, which is the run and the defense. And you don't have, while Dak Prescott can still throw the ball, you don't have him trying to save the day, which it feels like they've been trying to do. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott getting a lot of touches, and of course the defense has been stronger than ever. Michael Parsons, in my opinion, has been the defensive player of the year. They look good, and shouts out to the Cowboys for that. And the Giants, I'm starting to. I kind of feel like with the Giants and the Seahawks, and we'll talk about the Seahawks shortly. They're kind of that high is kind of coming down. Yes, you started the season off good, better than expected, but now you're starting to kind of understand who these teams really are, and the Giants haven't really looked good these last few weeks. I just think that the high is over. The run, I don't think they're going to lose every game, but the run is over for the Giants. They're kind of coming into who they really are, and that is a team that isn't that good offensively outside of Saquon Barkley and isn't that good defensively. Brian Daboll is still a hell of a coach. I still have him as coach of the year, but the Giants are starting to look like the Giants, and that's just that. But shouts out to the Cowboys. The Vikings beat the Patriots 33-26. Here's my thing about the Vikings. The Vikings are good. The Vikings are very good, but I'm starting to see, they have issues that can get them beat. If Kirk Cousins is not playing at 1:00, you're already at a disadvantage. Also, the defense gives up. The defense gives up way more points than expected. I mean, a week or two ago, they lost to the Cowboys like 40-3. And then you go up against a Patriots team who has been inept offensively all year and allow Mac Jones to throw damn near 350 yards. Mac Jones, who has been struggling. The Patriots don't have an offensive coordinator. And you pretty much came within a touchdown away from losing. Yeah. There are some problems with the Vikings, but the Vikings are 9-2. And they did beat the Patriots, so shouts out to the Vikings. Go to the Sunday's games. Again, we just talked about the Broncos, but the Panthers beat the Broncos 23-10. What's even worse about this game was Sam Darnold hasn't played the entire year and came back and looked like the best quarterback in that game, and that is terrible. And we just talked. We don't need to continue to harp on the Broncos, but they just look bad. The Browns beat the Buccaneers 23-17. I've been saying this all year, man. Tom Brady, even though he puts up he has a lot of passing stats, but the only reason why he has a lot of passing stats is because he passes the ball a lot. Tom Brady has not looked good in the slightest. And this is just another situation. Yes, you win the overtime, but Tom Brady missed a lot of passes that could have won them the game. And Jacoby Brissett didn't. David Njoku had an incredible one-handed catch to win the game. But we'll talk about the Browns on the Saturday episode. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson coming back, but the Broncos, man, the Broncos are not good. I know, and shouts out to Shannon Sharp. I know that the defense is going to get a lot of flack for it, but the defense actually been good. The defense, I think, is ranked in the top 10 in defense efficiency. The offense, though, I think is like 23rd or something. It's not been good. Let's park here for a second. The Jaguars beat the Ravens 28-27. Shouts out to the Jaguars. Shouts out to Doug Pearson. Shouts out to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looked like the franchise quarterback that the Jaguars drafted him number one to be, or drafted him at the number one spot. He looked great. They looked great. They were incredible, especially the fourth quarter of that game. One or two things happening, I will say, is a coincidence. 2 or 3 things happening, I say, is a trend. No, 3 or 4 things happening, I say, is a trend. 4 or 5 things happening, there's something there. The Ravens continuously find ways to lose double-digit leads, not only in the game, but in the second half / fourth quarter. They were up 19. They were up. It was 9 points against the Jaguars, but there's been multiple games this year where they've had double-digit leads, huge double-digit leads, and lost them. At the top of my head, I can remember the Dolphins, the Bills, and even though it was 9, we'll put them in the Jaguars. There's multiple. There's been like 2 or 3 more times. This one was not on Lamar Jackson. I've said this multiple times. The Ravens defense is a bunch of names, really good names. Now, this could just I do want no. Because I was thinking they did get Roquan Smith and he's been better. He's been good, but this is yet another. You're going against a quarterback who has struggled with throwing interceptions, and Trevor Lawrence looked like John Elway the last drive of that game. Now, yes, I do understand that Justin Tucker missed a 67-yard kick, and it looked really good too until it got closer. But the fact that you had to depend on Justin Tucker to hit a 67-yard kick, especially after Lamar Jackson drove down the field and scored and put you up like 27-20. I've continued to say that the Ravens could be a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl winning team, with Lamar Jackson, with the way that he orchestrates that offense. They could be a Super Bowl winning team. 2 things, however, will prevent them from winning. That is their offensive efficiency in the red zone and their defense. Their defense continuously this team continues to find ways to lose in the fourth quarter after having huge leads. And now, which we'll talk about the Bengals in a second. Now they're tied for number one in the division with the Bengals, and the Bengals are hot as fish grease right now, without Jamar Chase. Yeah. The Dolphins beat the Titans 30-15. The Dolphins are a team that we continuously sleep on, even though the Texans are terrible. But the Dolphins are one of those teams that just keep finding ways to win. They keep finding ways to win. And Tua looked good. This team is good. This team, I wouldn't be. This team can make some noise. This team will make noise in the playoffs, in my opinion. So, shouts out to the Dolphins. The Jets beat the Bears 31-10. The biggest story coming out of this game, and of course it happened last week while we were out, was Zach Wilson getting benched for Mike White. My opinion on the situation is Zach Wilson has been holding the team back, and a team that had absolutely no expectations. I'm going to say this. The expectations for the Jets shouldn't have been at least this point of the year 7-4. So the fact that they're good enough to at least make some noise in the playoffs, and then you have a quarterback that not only is holding the team back but not taking accountability for that. Yeah, now you gotta go. And then Mike White comes in and looks like Aaron Rodgers of old. Now again, yes, the Bears are have the worst ranked defense or something like that, but Mike White still looked good. And Robert Saleh said the thing that was, in my opinion, the nail in the Zach Wilson starting coffin, and that is Mike White came in and didn't try to be, a Hall of Famer. He didn't try to do the big things. He made the easy things look easy. That right there is they can say it's not, but that's a shot at Zach Wilson. I know they said if you bench Zach Wilson, you can lose him. Well, my G, the Zach Wilson that we have ain't doing nothing. And when you have pieces like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, come on now. And the defense actually being really good, yeah, I respect it. So yeah, the Bengals beat the Titans 20-16. Again, the Bengals are hot as fish grease right now. They are probably the hottest team in the league, and they haven't had excuse me. They haven't had Jamar Chase for the last 3-4 weeks, and he's scheduled to come back. This team is good. Joe Burrow has played himself into MVP conversations. This is the Bengals team that made it to the Super Bowl. Now, I didn't think we were going to get here. Trust me, I didn't. But this Bengals team is good. So shouts out to the Bengals. The Commanders beat the Falcons 19-13. Look. I don't think Taylor Heineke is a franchise quarterback. No one should think that. But he finds ways to win. That was an ugly game, and I think if he played anybody else that was good, they would lose. But they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Brian Robinson looks really good. Terry McLaurin has looked good. Taylor Heineke, the defense was getting gashed on run plays. But however, Chase Young should be coming back. So shouts out to the Washington, man. The Chargers beat the Cardinals 25-24. Cliff Kingsbury is yet another quarterback or yet another coach that probably won't be here next year. I think the writing is pretty much on the wall. It is over with for Cliff, because there's just so many problems with the Cardinals, and to me, it all surrounds the coach. So, because it was a winnable game, they were up big on the Chargers and found a way to lose. So, yeah, the Raiders beat the Seahawks 40-34. It was an overtime. They allowed Josh Jacobs to run like 290 or 229 yards, something like that. Now, I know he did bust out for a 84-yard run to seal the game. But like I said, the Giants and the Seahawks, they're kind of leveling out, and you're kind of seeing who they are. Not saying that they're terrible, but yeah, that's the Seahawks that we thought we would see and the Giants that we thought we would see coming in is what we've seen these last few weeks. Just saying. The Rams lost to the Chiefs 26-10. Matthew Stafford didn't play, but even if Matthew Stafford played, I don't think it would have mattered. Cooper Kupp still not there. Allen Robinson's out. Travis Kelce destroyed Jalen Ramsey. That's all I'm going to say on that. The 49ers beat the Saints 31-0. For some reason, I don't understand why Andy Dalton's still starting. I don't understand it. I know Elijah Wood from the 49ers, he got hurt. I know he's out for a couple weeks. But why is Andy Dalton still starting? I don't know. Don't get it. The Sunday Night Football, the Eagles beat the Packers 40-33. The biggest story coming out of this was Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. Jordan Love coming in and scoring it or throwing a touchdown to Christian Watson. And now the story is, should they just sit Aaron Rodgers? I understand what the Packers are doing, and I probably would do the same thing. If there's a mathematical shot, even though it is small, I think it's like 2%. If there's a shot that I can still make the playoffs, I'm going for it. And I'm going for it with the better quarterback, which is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Jordan Love looked okay, but that was one pass. Did we not see what Jordan Love looked like after that? All I'm saying is this, man. There's a lot wrong with the Packers. And honestly, I'm going to be 100% real here. One of the biggest I've been saying this, but I'll say it again. One of the biggest problems that I have with the Packers is their defense has been terrible. Their defense has a lot. Zaire Alexander, Darnell Savage, Maryland product, by the way. Preston Smith. Their defense has been god awful this entire season. The one game they looked good was against the Buccaneers, and we just talked about how bad their offense has been. This defense has been god awful this entire year. And Matt LaFleur, bruh. Matt LaFleur. Did you know that the Green Bay Packers are one of the worst second half teams? And what did I tell you guys? You can tell a good coach by what they look like the second half of games in the NFL. And the Green Bay Packers are one of the worst. Now, yes, Aaron Rodgers has been playing with a bad thumb, and now he has like a rib injury, which cost him ending the game against the Eagles. But still, the defense has been terrible. The Eagles had to run like damn near 300 yards on this team. It was bad. Man, I think the future of this organization is Jordan Love right now, but Aaron Rodgers is still making like $50 million a year. You have to play him. And if there's a mathematical shot to make the playoffs, even though it is slim, I will play the better quarterback because I'm trying to make the playoffs. So, and Monday Night Football, shouts out to the Steelers for beating the Colts 24-17. The biggest story out of this game was the poor clock management or the clock malpractice mishandling of the Colts at the end of the game. I don't know why the hell Jeff Saturday just didn't call timeouts. Like, I don't get it. Like, why are you not calling a timeout, my G? He ended the game with 2 timeouts. Think about that. It's a one-possession game. You have the ball, and you don't call a timeout. I think you only call like 1. That's a bad look, brother. That's a bad look. That's bad luck. Now, I know he came out and said, I wish I would have called the timeout. Yeah, no. Okay. Again, Jeff Saturday is not a coach. Let me not say. Jeff Saturday has not coached. So it's still a learning thing for him. But still, that costs you games. Now, I don't know even if you would have called the timeout or not, if you would have beat the Steelers or not. Kenny Pickett looked okay. Najee Harris looked pretty good. But you had a better shot at winning the game if you would have used those timeouts instead of not. And that's what happened. So there you have that. That has been Week 12 breakdown. Let's move forward. This is going to hurt me a little bit, but I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be as objective as possible. College basketball has seen a bunch of upset, you can kind of tell how the season's going to go by the first few weeks. And you can kind of tell that there's not a superior team this year in college basketball. Now, I will say I thought it was going to be North Carolina. I'm not saying North Carolina still can't ultimately win the national championship, but I thought that it was going to be North Carolina bringing back RJ Davis, bringing him back, Caleb Love, bringing back Armando Bacot Jr., bringing back a lot of players, also getting Nance. I thought it was going to be them. Then they go, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, okay. You're in a dogfight with Portland. You're in a dogfight with these teams that you should just be moving out the way. Then you lose to Iowa State. And you lose, even though it was quadruple overtime, you lose to Alabama. So now you go from 1 to 18, that's crazy. Now, it doesn't help that UConn just boat raced Iowa State in the PK championship. But then, okay, Gonzaga loses. Okay, Duke loses twice, and Purdue destroyed them. Okay, well, Kansas loses. Kentucky keeps losing. The number one team right now is Houston. To me, there's, at least as we currently sit and talk about it, there's no dominant team. It could turn out to be Houston. It could turn out to be one of these teams that lost. I mean, as we know in college basketball, it doesn't really matter until like the last 2 weeks of the regular season. Plus, well, let me say this: you have to win games, but it doesn't really count until you get to the conference championship, or conference playoffs, conference tournament. But it hurts my soul, man. I thought it was going to be North Carolina, and it still could be North Carolina, but they haven't looked good. Caleb Love still be taking the most infuriating shots I've ever seen. Armando Bacot kind of seems timid sometimes, and you're the senior. I'm just airing out my grievances. This could all be for naught. North Carolina could come back and win the whole thing, which I hope is the case. And I will come back here in my North Carolina gear and shout from the rafters. But it's not looking that way right now. To me, there's no dominant team. It usually is. Let me say this: most of the blue bloods are not dominant. Kentucky has problems. Duke has problems. North Carolina has problems. Gonzaga has problems. Arizona has problems. Why did Arizona get a shout out? That's all I'm saying, man. Let's move forward. So in the NBA, man, this has been a very interesting season so far, and I wanted to give my top 5 MVP candidates, because there has been some incredible play by. I mean, hell, Joel Embiid was out, but he had a 50, I think it was 59-point game. He also had a 30-point game. Kevin Durant the other day had a 45-point game. Talking about, I feel, he when he wakes up, he's a bucket, which we all knew. But I wanted to give my top 5 MVP. And again, there's been some great people. There's some people that I'll just tell you now isn't on the list that just missed it is Ja Morant. He's been incredible, but let me give my top 5. At number 5, I have Devin Booker. One thing that we have to acknowledge is the fact that, at least currently, the Phoenix Suns are number 1 in the West. Chris Paul has not been, he's been out. DeAndre Ayton has been playing really well, but the constantly scoring constant has been Devin Booker. Devin Booker has been incredible. And if it wasn't for Devin Booker, this team would be nowhere close to as good as they are. Yes, shouts out to DeAndre Ayton for playing well, but I have Devin Booker. I mean, Devin Booker just had a 44-point game, I believe, and hit really clutch. Devin Booker's obviously been really clutch as well as far as in crunch time situations for the Suns this year. So I have Devin Booker at number 5. Number 4, I have Giannis. Giannis is Giannis. Come on, bro. Giannis has been the Bucks are second in the East. Giannis, I think he just had a stretch of like 30 or 35 point games, maybe like 3 or 4 of them in a row. Giannis has been that good, and yeah, it's Giannis is something different. That's all I will. Yeah, and Giannis has. Let me see. Giannis is 5th in rebounds per game, and I think 4th in scoring at 49 or 30.9. Shout out to Giannis. At number 3, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I have Shai because, one, he's playing on a team that nobody had expectations of being as good as they are. I mean, if you look at the standings right now, even though they're 8-13, nobody thought they were going to be as good and as entertaining as they are. Shai Gilgeous, he's second in the league currently or third in the league at points per game at 31.1. Shai has been incredible, and he has had some. His usage rate, he's fifth in usage rate at 32.4. That man is good. Shai Gilgeous is, and he's also 4th in points in the paint. He's averaging 15.5 points in the paint. Shai, it would behoove me not to put him at number 3. So I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at number 3. Number 2, I have Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is leading the league in scoring at 33.1. Luka Doncic also is 4th in assists per game at 8.4. Luka's been incredible. Now, the biggest problem that Luka has, and not just Luka, but the biggest problem that Luka faces is his team is not that good. He doesn't have a second star, a second person that can help him, really, which is also kind of one of the biggest reasons why he's putting up the numbers that he's putting up. But I have Luka as number 2, and number 2 was hard, and Steph was in there too. It's just the Warriors haven't been winning enough for me right now, even though Steph is 2nd in the league in scoring. But I have to give it to Luka. And number 1, even though it's number 1, I have Jason Tatum. Right now, Jason Tatum, in my opinion, should be leading the league should be leading the MVP race currently. Now, yes, the team as a whole is good, but currently the Boston Celtics have the best record in the NBA. Jason Tatum is fifth in scoring at 30.8. Jason Tatum is also one of the cog that kind of keeps this Boston Celtics team together. Jason Tatum has been great. And his defense has improved. And that's one of the biggest. His defense has improved, which is kind of permeated throughout the entire team. One of the biggest reasons why I'm giving it to Jason Tatum is because of the record, especially everything that went on this offseason. The fact that he has been the best player on the best team is the biggest reason why I have him at number one. So again, I have let me go back. I have Devin Booker at number 5, Giannis at number 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at number 3, Luka at number 2, and Jason Tatum at number 1. I know I left out some good names like Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic is up there, that Ja Morant can definitely. And honestly, quiet as it's kept, even though they're terrible, like even though the team record-wise is terrible, I have to give some consideration and some look at Anthony Davis. With LeBron, when LeBron James is out, Anthony Davis was averaging like 37 points or something like that. Anthony Davis has been incredible. But he's done on my list. That's my top 5. Let me know who's on your top 5. We'll talk about it. Moving forward, I was in here killing Ben Simmons. I was in here not killing, but being honest about Ben Simmons, being honest about people like them, Klay Thompson. They weren't playing well. Ben Simmons and Klay Thompson both have been playing incredibly better, and it shows by the teams. I mean, Golden State's on a 3-game win streak. Brooklyn is on a 2-game win streak. The question is, with Ben Simmons playing better, does that make Brooklyn Ben Simmons playing better, Kyrie Irving's back, Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. Does that make them a team to beat in the West? The East. The answer is hell to the no. This team is terrible defensively. Terrible. Yes, they can score with the best of them with Kyrie, KD, you still have Seth Curry. But defensively, this team is horrible. If you look, there's no way I'm putting Brooklyn, even though you have good pieces, there's no way I'm putting Brooklyn over Boston. There's no way I'm putting Brooklyn over Milwaukee. It's a dogfight if we talk about the 76ers. Hey, look at my Wizards at number 7. Miami Heat, no. Yes, you have Kevin Durant. Yes, you have Kyrie. Yes, you have Ben Simmons playing better. But defensively, this team is not good at all. And especially when you have a big or a person of size, pause, when we talk about a Joel Embiid, or when we talk about a Giannis, when we talk about players like Sabonis, it's now I know Sabonis is definitely the Kings. I'm just saying. Oh, when you talk about DeAndre Ayton, or when you talk about Zion, or when you talk about Nikola Jokic or Giannis or Vucevic, it's just no. I don't see it. But they have been playing better, so shout out to them. Also want to point out the fact of Karl Anthony Towns did get hurt. I think luckily it's not as well. It was a calf injury that's going to sideline him for 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully that's all it is. They're saying that it's not an ACL or an Achilles. So shouts out. It kind of feels like this is the same thing that happened with Kevin Durant in the playoffs. The thing is, of course, hopefully they don't rush. It's not as serious, boom, and they also don't rush Karl Anthony Towns back. Like, it kind of felt like Kevin Durant was rushed back, understandably so, with the playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves aren't good, even with Karl Anthony Towns, and that's not a shot on him or anything. I don't know how they're fair without him. He's their best player currently, but I am happy that the injury is not as serious as it looked, and it should be out 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully, if it is longer, it's because it's just healing slowly, just not no hiccups. You know what I mean? So I hope that, get well soon, Karl Anthony Towns. And lastly, before we go, the rich just continue to get richer. The 2022 World Series champions, Houston Astros, just picked up Jose Abreu. I know I said your name wrong, brother. I apologize. He was the AL MVP in 2020, which I also think is crazy. Because how are you an AL MVP in 2020, but yet you only made the All MLB second team? That's weird. But one of the biggest, at least in the World Series, one of the biggest strengths for the Astros was their hitting. And you just got an MVP first baseman or a former MVP first baseman. So the rich just continue to get richer. That's about it. And there you have it. That has been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. If you want an Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve, joggers, the link is in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. So whatever you're looking for, I pretty much got you. Just click on the link, go to the website, get the stuff, check out, bada bing, bada boom. Also, please subscribe to if you're listening. Please subscribe to if you're watching. It definitely means a lot to me. I appreciate all the comments that I'm getting. I appreciate the interactions that I'm getting on Instagram and on Twitter. Not Twitter, on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, much love.